How's everybody doing? This is Brandon here at Sleeper Cell Studio. And I was just thinking, this is something that I run into a lot, and I thought I'd share it because you may be having the same issue. But I see this a lot, and I don't really see, it get mentioned a whole lot. But say you got a vocal,
Chasing shadows, hitting brick walls, stumbled my way through the dark.
this is all raw. I haven't even got the balances set. There's no plugins on anything. But so you got this vocal. Say this is the lead vocal, right? And a typical thing, I'll just use the stock EQ so you can see better what's going on here. Would be to let's just solo it.
Chasing shadows.
A typical thing is to cut off that low end at, I don't know, let's just say 100. Cut it off at say 100, right? So you're like, get rid of the low end. That's kind of the most common thing people always talk about. Is get rid of the low end on the vocal.
Chasing shadows, hitting brick walls, stumbled my way.
So we cut the low end at 100. Cool, low end's gone, right? But then with vocals, at least I'm going to use a lot of compression typically. Sometimes I'll use it while I'm tracking, but then I'm going to compress it again even afterwards. So sometimes I'll have 2-3 compressors on a vocal, say 6 dB I'm taking off when I'm tracking it, and then maybe I'll have another compressor smashing it like 5, 6, 7 dB, and then maybe I'll have another one, 2 in the mix and 1 during the tracking. But so just to keep it simple here, I don't think this vocal was recorded with any compression. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't. It's just like a demo vocal. But so say you do something typical like a 1176 thing on it, and say we compress it let's just do like 10 dB, which in a mix a lot of times by the time it's done I might have 20 dB of compression, but let's just say 10.
Chasing shadows, hitting brick walls, stumbled my way through the dark. Ever run in to the true light I felt inside my heart.
Alright, so then it's like we cut the low end, we compressed it by 10 dB, but then it's like, hold on, let's do it again.
Chasing shadows, hitting brick walls.
It kind of sounds like it's got a bunch of low end in it, right? But it's like, no, we already cut the low end, right? The low end's gone. Whatever. Well, if we actually look at it, let's just grab another stock EQ. Here's the EQ response on that vocal.
Chasing shadow.
All right. Here it is with nothing.
Chasing shadows, hitting brick walls, stumbled my way through.
See that low end on it? That's with nothing. So that was the raw take, right? So from like 80 down, it's basically on this line.
Chasing shadows, hitting brick.
Right. So we low cut it, which is what we did. We're like, we got to get rid of that.
Chasing shadows, right, so hitting brick walls, stumbled my way through the dark.
Like 80, it's rolling down. I have it at 100, but on the graph here, just to make it simple, you can see it starts, shooting below the line at like 80.
Chasing shadows.
But then when I put that compressor back in, that's 10 dB of compression, which is actually less than it would probably end up with.
Chasing shadows, hitting brick walls, stumbled.
Look at that low end on the vocal. It's right back up to where it was to begin with.
Chasing shadows, hitting brick walls, stumbled my way through the dark. Ever run in to the truth. Chasing shadows, hitting brick.
Yeah, it's pretty much back exactly where it was. In the low end's right back pretty much where it was before we high passed it to begin with. So it's just a tip, if you're gonna EQ the vocal first and roll off the low end and then compress it a lot of times that low end will come back and you'll have to like high pass it again. So it's
chasing shadows, hitting brick walls, stumbled my way through the dark. Ever run in to the true light.
Right, to actually get rid of the low end. And somebody might say, well, why wouldn't you just compress it first and then high pass it? And that's valid. Some people like to do that. I do that sometimes. Sometimes I EQ it first, but the compression acts different if you don't take the low end out first. It triggers off the low end more if you don't get rid of it first. So sometimes I'll get rid of it and compress it so it's focused more on the part I actually want to keep. And then I'll have to high pass it again. But yeah, if you compress it first and then EQ it, high pass it, then, you know, typically that's not going to be an issue. But for anybody out there that might have a distressor plugin, I find that it's like great for this type of thing, right? Because it's like, let me find it here. Empirical Labs distressor, there we go. Right, so I could do a similar type of thing. 4-to-1, fast release, you know, semi medium fast attack. Right, but on the distressor,
chasing shadow,
I can kind of do it all in one, right? I can do the high pass to what the compressor sees. So the compressor is only seeing the high passed signal, but it's actually going to spit out everything. It's just triggering off of the high pass signal only.
chasing shadows, hitting brick walls, stumbled my way through the dark, ever running to the true light I felt inside my heart. Now I can see the
Right, so we've high passed it on the way in, so it's only triggering off of the frequencies we want to keep. So it's basically seeing it as if we had a high pass on there, but it's reacting to if it was high pass, but it's putting out the whole signal, if that makes sense, right? But then
chasing shadows, hitting brick walls, stumbled my way.
We can high pass it on the way out as well. So this is actually going to high pass what the compressor is putting out.
Chasing shadows, hitting brick walls, stumbled my way through the dark, ever running to the true light I felt inside my heart. Now I can
So you can see it without the high pass on the way out.
chasing shadows, hitting brick walls, stumbled my way through the dark, ever running.
And then in. The distressor slope on the high pass, I don't think is as sharp. I don't think it's 18. I think it's more like 12 or 6. So it's, you know, it's a little softer. But it's the same concept, right? So yeah, it's like you can high pass the vocal and then compress it, but then you may need to high pass it again because the compression brings the low end back up. But if you have a distressor, it kind of does all three of them moves in one, and then you could EQ it afterwards or whatever if you want to make other EQ changes. But yeah, I just thought I'd share that because that's something that I come across a lot, and yeah, hope that helps you out. This is Brandon at Sleeper Cell Studio. Feel free to hit me up. You got any questions? Give me a like if you like the video, if it's helpful. Subscribe. See you next time.